Hey, I'm Aaron Thompson. Welcome to Battle Brothers Podcast. I'm here with Mark Hertel and Davis Fry. How you guys doing today?
Doing good, doing good.
All
Doing good,
right,
buddy.
right on. All right, so today we have the Waterloo GT and the Blue Ridge GT champion with us. We would have talked about this sooner, but had a Battle Brother get married last week. Shout out to Juice. He tied the knot. And the week before that, I had a family emergency. So we're here. We're going to catch up on that this episode, and also talk about the recent balance update. Talk about some Emperor's Children. Just a lot of exciting stuff for the 40K community. But first up, hobby corner. What's on our hobby desk? I'm currently. We were just discussing this, trying to get these Land Raiders painted. I hate painted vehicles. And then I was going to do something cool with my Terminators. I printed out some custom Celestial Lions storm shields and printed all right hands or right arms. So, yeah, I have to redo that. But that's what's on my hobby table now. What about you, Mark?
I've got to get a unit of scouts built up now. I've got a ton of old scouts, but need to get them on the new bases or something else.
So you are jumping on the Scouts, finally.
Well, they're 20 points less than JPI, and I lost 20 points, so.
Right, with the balance update, which we'll kind of briefly go over. What about you, Davis? Anything? I know there's stuff on your hobby table.
Yeah, all EC stuff, but I have most of the army being commissioned, but I have some Terminators I've been testing out stuff. So
Yeah,
I've just been down there testing out inks and shit like that.
and I think you'll touch base on the Emperor's Children coming up because you're pretty much the expert on all the new stuff that's coming out for that. Um, as far as that, we're going to 40K news, which we just had the balance update, which we'll get in. I think we'll get into that after we go over the GT games. Points increases, which are available online. I don't think we'll touch on all of them, but we'll go over some of them. A lot of new exciting stuff coming. Um, but a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago now, the Waterloo GT in Mechanicsville, Virginia. Mark, you took first.
Yes, I
Um,
did. Yes, I did.
now, your Waterloo GT and your Blue Ridge GT, did you run the same list?
Exact same list.
Okay, can we just go over your lists and what it does, since they're the same for both?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I was running a very similar list to what I've been running for a while. It's Ultraman's Gladius. I've got Gilliman, of course, Marius Calgar, a librarian. I've got a unit of assault intercessors, a unit of regular intercessors. Then I've got two Land Raider Redeemers. I have an Impulsor, a unit of Desolation Marines, a one unit of JPI, and a 10-man unit of Stormguard Vets.
And that GT was the first time you've ran the Desolation in a GT.
Yes,
And how did they perform?
they performed admirably. They did exactly what they needed to do. They are my anti-Eldar, anti-infantry tech. They really popped off in my fourth round game against Don. They killed. I went first. And I killed his intercessor squad on his home objective before they could sticky his home objective. And from there, it was all downhill from there for him.
And they're also a good anti-tank. I mean, I wouldn't say good anti-tank, but they're capable of taking out some small stuff.
They're good, but typically you want to like make sure that they shouldn't look like something they know they're going to kill,
Yeah,
so they don't get caught back.
I think they're expensive. But I mean, even if they take out a scout squad, I mean they're doing good because that's what people
Well, if
use for their
they're doing like a
secondaries.
scout squad a turn, they make their points back up really fast.
Right. Yeah. So I know we were just talking about that. I keep wanting to throw them in. I don't know, man. You make them work, but what you make work doesn't work for everyone.
Uh,
So let's go over your games for the Waterloo GT. If you can just basically say, what you went up against and kind of just a brief overview of each of the games.
yeah, absolutely. My first game was against Adeptus Custodes. It was the new Grotmus attachment with the Solar Spearhead. He it wasn't super optimized, so I was able to just take it down pretty well. At one point, he charged one Land Raider with the Dreadnoughts. I killed him with Overwatch, and then yeah, it was just downhill from there because that's one activation on those things that stand back up. Kill once in Overwatch and then comes on back. So I got that one pretty solidly, 96 to 40. Round two was against what's this? Let's load. My buddy Eric Hoger, who's on my ATC team. It was his Eldar with a billion Wraith
And
Guard
this is the
and
new
Wraith
Eldar,
Blade.
right?
This new Eldar.
Okay.
So basically, the Destination Marines didn't do too much in this game because there wasn't like a bunch of like stuff for them to shoot at. But I was able to make some good saves on Gilman, survive some shooting from Wraithguard, and from there I was able to just like whittle them down, keep killing, keep killing while not losing too much to myself. And I was able to pull that game out 99 to 34.
Okay.
Round three. Uh, Round three, we had myself versus Walker Juilliard, and he was playing Chaos Demons. He was playing Legions of Excess. That's not anything anymore. I do like his name of his list. It was Let's Get Some Games In Before James hits us with the Nerf Bat, which they really got hit by that Nerf Bat.
Yeah.
But I played his Legions of Access list, and I was able to beat that 92 to 31. Moving on, round four is my game against Don Bellick with his Blood Angels, and he was running the a very similar list to Jack Harper's LVO list, but I was able to beat that 91 to 48. I was able to a few key things. I was able to kill his Assault Assessors turn one. Then I was able to kill his on my turn two. I was able to kill his Hammer Strike, which was going to give him Ignorance cover. So once that thing died, I was able to prevent his JPI or his Inceptors. With when they came down, they weren't able to do as much damage as they needed to do because I was able to get cover. And then I was able to just keep killing, and whittling them down. I got that game 91-46. My
Nice.
last game was against Emery Garrett with his Drukari, and this is where the Desolation Marines just popped off as well because they were just like, oh, you got all these like Ravagers, and you got all these like Raiders. Oh, not Ravagers, Raiders, but like you got like the all these 5-man infantry squads like jump around and do things, and it was just like dead, 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 and that was just really good. So I got that game 100 to 46.
Nice. So Desolation staying in your list. Do you think you're going to see more Desolation? I know I've seen some lists with 2 Desolation. I think that's a lot. I mean,
I
I
think
see what
that's a
works.
lot with Desolation Marines that aren't going to do as much.
And you almost need the Impulsor if you're going to
Yeah.
run them. Now, are you hopping your Desolation Marines out and taking out targets? Or are they pretty much in there for the most part? They're in the Impulsor.
Oftentimes they start in the impulsor, but most of the time they will leave the impulsor a little bit, either so the impulsor can go out and do things, or so that they can just get shooting with older guns. Because if I'm shooting from the impulsor, I don't get to shoot older guns. I can only shoot one gun from each guy, so I can't shoot the Vanguard launcher and the Concealed launcher from the sergeant.
Yeah, so I mean, you could even plant them on an expansion objective and
Yeah,
just raise hell on them because I mean, what is it, 36-inch range? So, and then if you need to kill a tank, you can pop around the corner and pop them with a super crack.
exactly.
But then they're exposed, and I mean, but eventually they're gonna. Yeah, did you lose them
Eventually they
in
run
any
out of stuff to
games?
kill you back.
Were they alive every game?
I probably lost them in at least a game. I don't
Okay,
remember.
okay, right on. So then you took them. What was it? Last weekend? Was Blue Ridge
But yes, this
GT?
last weekend.
Yep, and hey, you won that one too. So it was really
I won
convenient
again.
getting you on the podcast since you're one of the hosts. Um, same list. Can you go over those games briefly?
Absolutely. My first game was against James Lovett. He was playing Bloodless Blood Angels. Just a bunch of JPI 10-man squads and some Sternguard vets.
Which is also nerfed
Um,
now.
which is nerfed now too. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. No longer sad trumpet sounds from the Bloodless Blood Angels. I got that game 100 to 70. He he just didn't have an answer to like my Land Raiders easily because like he's got those JPI squads, but like they don't hit too hard against 2-up armor save and T12. Game two was against Michael Armstrong against his war leaders. That game was very quick. Ended up tabling him round three. turn 3, and then I only got 97 to 15 because I drew kill secondaries on the last turn, and that was very that was disheartening. It's like can't score 100 if you just kill them and you draw kill
Yeah.
secondaries. World leaders are not a very good matchup against my list because it's just like I've got all the firepower to kill them, I've got all the damage to kill them, I got the flamers to kill them on Overwatch, and then it's just like they do not do too much damage back to me.
Yeah, I mean, if melee's going against you, they almost have to be behind cover and then charge
I'm so
you.
fast, it's hard to get behind the cover and stay there.
Right.
And then I'll just pop out next
Well,
turn and
and you
just shoot
got
you.
Desolation. I don't know how much damage the Desolation Marines do to Terminators, but you got that threat too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Round 3 was against Blake Sawyer with his Imperial Knights. It may not seem like I've got a lot of anti-tank, but I've got most of my anti-tank is like Calgar, Gilman, and Melee. But with Pulse from the Wound and the Stern Guard, they put a hurting on some Knights. And
Nice.
same with my tanks too.
Yeah, I think I messaged you after that game. Was like, how did you handle Knights? Because before we would just knock them out with the Centurions, but I didn't
Yeah.
even think about making the Storm of Fire with the Stern Guard, just wrecking them.
Yeah, putting the Stern Guard up to AP2 ignores cover. They'll put the Knights on a 4-up inval save, and they'll just do a lot of dev wounds too.
Yep.
Then game 4 was against Todd Lanzer with his Orcs, who was doing Tactical Brigade. That's also a match that previously I have not lost to Orcs. I've not lost to Orcs since they've got the new detachment. But like Tactical Brigade, I've got the firepower and survivability to kill them and take them down. He was able to kill one Land Raider, but it was a Land Raider that didn't really matter. And then like the other Land Raider was like unscathed. Like Tactical Brigade is just so swingy on like their actual damage and fire output sometimes. And round 5 was against everyone's favorite Sisters player, Jeffrey Clonder. This game was it could have been a lot closer than the score looks. The score was 99-28, but like there was if a few things went a different way, it could have been a lot closer of a game. Most is just on the terrain we played on the deployment zone. I went first, and I was able to just like be everywhere all at once and just like shoot him too much, so he couldn't hide anything. And they're just like, all right, cool. This tank is dead. I charged Vol Squad turn 1. It was just really fast paced and brutal game.
And that was your last game.
Yes.
So you had Sisters, which is arguably one of the worst armies right now, and they're in the finals with you. But he's a good player, so
Oh,
I
he's a very
guess
good player.
in the hands of a good player, Sisters are still there. So with we just had we're going to get into the changes coming up here briefly. We're not going to go over all of them, but um, some of your points went up. What are you doing to your list to since the changes?
I'm dropping the JPI for a scout squad.
Okay.
Simple change.
Are you taking fire discipline on the librarian or not enough points for
No,
that? Or
not
okay.
much for that.
So you're basically and so you have points left over or no? Oh, it
No,
went
I'm
up 20 points. Okay.
exactly.
Yep. Okay. Well, I mean, you'll still make it work. I mean, I mean, you're losing JPI, but the scouts are nice to plop around and get some
And just
secondaries
hold
on.
expansion objectives, stuff like that.
Yep. That's awesome, man. Well, congrats on both of your wins. I'm sure we'll see more for you. What's your next term at BEA?
BEA.
Okay, yeah, we'll be running that. Maybe running the same list. I don't know. I gotta play test my RTT and see how that goes. But yeah. So now we'll get into some of the new stuff. So Davis, Emperor's Children. That's like the new hotness you're excited about.
Oh
What
yeah.
what all do you have to? What do you think about them so far since they've come out? And how are you planning on running them?
Oh, they're just sweet. So I'm sure most people have seen the leagues. If you haven't, go look them up. They're great. The entire army can advance and charge, advance and shoot. A couple caveats to that. You can't advance and charge something that you fell back from. You can't advance and charge or advance and shoot something that someone else has already shot or charged. So there's a couple bookkeeping stuff you have to pay attention to, which is but it's not bad. Um, I think the army's great. It's fast. Everything moves 1 to 2 inches faster than its counterpart. It hits in melee like a brick shit house. The only thing that it lacks on a large margin is shooting. It's only shooting unless you want to take like a Hell Drake or something like that. Is Noise Marines, 18 inches, strength 5 or strength 10, AP 1 or 2, 3 damage or 2 damage. It'll kill infantry or even light vehicles pretty easily, but things like Land Raiders and Knights and Grin and Clean ones, it struggles into. So there are some tricks. A lot of the detachments have little tricks here and there, sustained hits and reroll ones to hit and wound, but it just takes some getting used to. It's a very hyper aggressive army, which I enjoy.
Yeah. So you're going to be. And we were talking before the podcast. You're kind of abandoning the Fulcrum train.
Yeah. So there's a world where he works, right? But not in my world. He's 385 points. No real defensive stats other than a 4-up invul. He's only T11. And he only has 16 wounds. So a couple crack missiles hitting him, you fail a couple saves, he's just dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Have you played any games with these guys yet? I know you're going to play a TTS game after the recording of this, but have you played any
I've pl-
games yet?
I've played one or two. I played one in the Mark.
Okay.
It went pretty well. And then um, I forgot who I played with the other one, but it's an army you have to practice with, get used to. It has a lot of isms that if you don't know the stratagems and everything, that it could bite you.
Yeah. So that's the Emperor's Children. That's like the new hotness that's coming out. We had the balance update, which we won't go through everything. Other podcasts are good at doing that. Um, in fact, I recommend. I like Auspex Tactics. I'll give them a shout out because they're like right after they come out, they just lay it down. You don't have to listen to a lot of guys blabber. It's just straight to the point. I know Mark and I are playing Marines. Calgar went up. I don't disagree with that. I mean, he's a beast. I mean, the only thing that surprised me was Whirlwind's going up. I guess they kind of have to since Vindicators went up. But I know a few people are using Whirlwinds. I've tried to theory make them work, but they're just not for the points. They're just not doable. Um, Other than that, I mean, Fire Discipline went down, but you still didn't get the 5 crits back. The big thing
I'll
though
be able to do
was,
that.
yeah, the big thing though was changing oath, which which is what they intended. They didn't intend you to run a Blood Angels detachment with, you know, that, but you can still get it with those guys. You just can't run. You have to run a Gladius or something like that. But I don't think anybody's list other than Vanguard, because Uriel lost the ability to deep strike the Centurions. I don't think anybody's list are really deviating that much. I mean, dropping a thing here and there. I think uh, Dusty had talked about dropping. He's running the triple Vindicator and Ballistus spam, and he's just dropping a speeder. I mean, I don't think it was overwhelming. The big thing though was Tau. Uh, getting what +6 inches to everything. Um,
No, the big thing was orcs.
well,
That new
we'll
orc
get into
detachment
that.
is going to be our. That's going to be our new orcish overlords right now.
So
So the town attachment's neat. It brings back a lot of weapons that were big baddies in like 9th edition.
yeah, and
Um,
I feel like Tau needed a little bit of love. I mean,
uh, I mean, they're pretty good.
yeah. Plus, what
I
18-inch
took them.
flamers now?
Yeah, I took them to Worlds and did pretty okay. But yeah, 18-inch flamers. Now every type of weapon has a relic weapon or whatever you want to call it. Like the fusion blades are 2 attacks, strength 12, AP 5. I think it's +1 damage, so it's D6 +1 plus melt of 4. So,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you
It
know what I mean?
we're gonna touch on orcs here in a minute because I know Mark's jumping at the bit because he played a game with them and if Mark says something's broken, it's broken because he's usually pretty, okay. Solar Spearhead got a little bit of a hit, not the detachment itself, but everything going on. I think the list that most people running went up 55 points. I don't think that's going to stop people from taking Solar. I think they're going to drop some prosecutors. I think if you
No,
you have to drop
mo-
almost two
most
squads of prosecutors, but
Yeah, most lists took a hit. Like my CSM list kind of was unscathed, but um,
But I don't
a
think they
lot of
took
a
a
lot of a
drastic
lot of
hit,
no, nothing really took. I mean,
except
a
for
few things took
Vanguard.
drastic hits, but
Vanguard's pretty much done. I mean, unless you're,
I mean, if you're playing Vanguard, you might as well just play Deathwatch. They do the same thing.
but
and
better. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think you have to be a better player to play Deathwatch. It's more of a finesse, you think?
I think it's about on the same level as Vanguard. If you're already playing Vanguard, you can do the same thing with Deathwatch.
Okay. Well, Vanguard's pretty straight. I think you're still going to see the triple Vindicator spam. You're still going to see double, triple Land Raider for Space Marines. You're still going to see Solar Spearhead. You're still going to the Eldar stuff's going to change. Their stuff got pretty hit, right?
They got some minor points hits. I think you're going to see the main thing you're going to see is you're going to see less aspect hosts because you have less reason to run Eldrad or not Eldrad, but whatever his name is, Mister Kill your entire infantry unit. But you'll see
what?
more Yanari. You'll see more on the Yanari list because that's going to be the de facto way to run Eldar.
And do you
Yeah,
think?
and that
Okay.
what's his face got nerfed pretty good. He's only anti-infantry 5 now.
Yeah.
Now,
So
do you think with Emperor's Children coming out, most of your Chaos players are going to go to that?
That
no,
was new to the Belcourt detachment.
Oh,
I
that's true.
think
Yeah.
a lot of people will go to the Bellicor. I mean, hell, if it wasn't for Emperor's Children, I would be doing that.
And you're doing that for a pure fluff thing. You just like Emperor's Children.
I think the army's badass.
Do you think it's
I
better
think
than the Bellicourt attachment?
that Bellicourt attachment's fucking sweet. I'm actually printing Blood Crushers right now.
Nice. That'll be cool.
It's yeah. I mean, it gives you so much more flexibility on stuff that needed. Like they finally gave Corn stuff advance in charge. I don't know why
Which
Slanesh. I like the fact that Slanesh had it because Slanesh stuff was sweet, but Corn is literally its whole thing is combat.
and
So I never understood why
right.
they didn't have advanced charge. And dude, a bloodthirster that can scout 9 inches and then still advance in charge, that's bananas.
And it's when you see a bloodthirster coming at you, I mean it's especially if you don't know what it can do. I mean it's intimidating. It's an intimidating model. And so is
Oh,
the new Bellicore.
he gonna kill whatever he touches. That's
Right.
almost non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And Bellacore got a glow up. You know, he got +2 tough or +1 toughness, +2 wounds. Got an extra attack. He got devastating wounds. It put him more on par to what he was in 9th edition when he could ignore invulnerable saves.
Yeah. So I mean the balance updates aside from what we're going to talk about here in a minute, Mark, if you want to get that orc stuff pulled up because you've played it and kind of know more about it than I do, but I think the
Yeah,
balance
I
update was
don't get
pretty
pulled up.
fair.
This for the most part, it's pretty fair. I don't think orcs need this new detachment, but like, oh lord, they got it, and now we got to deal with it.
Well, and to be fair with Battle Brother Blue, what he said, you didn't lose to the other one though, did you? And I
And
think,
this is tactical.
do you think? And we're going to get into this detachment. Do you think you can beat this detachment? Like if you
Yes,
so you, with your current
I
list, you
think I
think you
can
could
beat
beat
it.
right, but it's going to be tough for like a player like myself, which is newer to the 10th edition game. It's going to be is it like if a newer is it a finesse army? Is it or is it
It's
like
not really
a
finesse because like, you're basically doing the same thing you're doing with tactical, except you're more reliable.
okay?
So
Go
basically, it's like
over
instead of,
I think we've touched most of the balance updates except for orcs. I think the net we'll go into that, but go explain the new orc hotness.
so the big thing is that you get sustained hits 2 on all your infantry and walkers in your shooting phase. So it's not Overwatch, not any other phase, only your shooting phase. And also, you get in your WOG, you get assault on all your guns. So when they WOG, they get a 5 normal save, advance and charge, advance and shoot. But the big thing is the sustain hits 2. A lot of these things, like Ludas, they get full reroll. They're hitting on 6s already, but now they get sustain hits 2. If you're on, and now they get, now the thing about Ludas, they get reroll 1s always when they shoot, but they get full rerolls if you're on an objective. So all of a sudden they're like a ton of shots each. So basically, and they're cheap as heck. They're like 50 points for 5. So 100 points for 10. They're like AP1, 2 damage, strength 8. Which if you're only hitting on 6s without sending a 2, that's like, all right, cool, whatever. It's like they'll do some damage. But when you get sustain as 2 and your full rules to hit, all of a sudden you get like 30 hits on like average. Just
Right.
like if you're on an objective, it's pretty freaking crazy.
Right.
I'm not saying that's actually 30 hits on average, but like it's crazy numbers.
Yeah, and
And that's just
a
like
lot of
literally.
transports too, right?
Yeah, so you run them in transports, so they're hard to kill to start. They get out of the transports, they kill what they shoot at. They're very efficient for what they do. Like they're for what they do, they're too efficient for what they do. Like they should either cost more for what they do, or they just need to be not sustained as 2. If they're sustained as 1, it would still be bad, but being sustained as 2 is insane.
Do you?
And also,
Oh, go ahead.
also their strats. Like they've got 1 CP, they can be extra AP on their entire army against 1 unit. And then for another CP, they can be ignored cover against that unit for their entire army. So it's not just like, oh, this one unit's going to be ignored cover against this 1 unit. It's no, everything is ignored cover against this 1 unit.
Okay.
And
Do
then
you?
basically you have a land raider, and then all of a sudden you're AP3, AP3 tank busters with AP6 with the guy who's running around with a mega blaster. It's pretty freaking crazy.
Do you think this is going to get nerfed?
It is soon, yes.
Do you think you're going to see it a lot in the meta, or
Yes.
do you? So you think non-orc
This is the
players
de
are
facto way
gonna?
to run the orcs. Like people who aren't playing orcs are going to be playing orcs to play this detachment. This is the strongest detachment in the game at the moment.
Okay, so I I can't see this lasting for the next balance update's what, June?
It won't, but I don't think it's going to last that long. I think they'll nerf it before then.
Well, in June we're probably getting a new mission set, right?
I don't know.
I think last year we got the Pariah Nexus is when Pariah Nexus came out last June, so we'll
I think
probably be getting.
I think Pro Nexus came out like right after ATC last year.
Okay, so I mean I don't know. I guess we'll find out if we're. I think people are going to play it if they already have the orcs. I don't know if people are going to be building them. I mean, I guess with the world of 3D printers now, I mean, you can print and paint something real quick and play it.
I mean, people who want to chase the meta, they'll chase it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can figure out a counter to that. I know Blue's probably going to be running that hotness. He's a diehard orc player. He'd be stupid not to play that.
Yeah, you should be playing it.
So I think that touched on everything that we wanted to talk about. Is there anything else before we get into upcoming events? Davis, anything?
I'm good, Bo.
All right, so upcoming events, Adepticon, um, that's coming up this month. I think it's next.
Next month, I think.
Is it next? I thought it was. Maybe it is. I don't think any of us are going to it. Battle to BEA is coming up. Battle to Alzheimer's. That's April 12th and 13th. Richmond Open, May 3rd through the 4th, and then the Your Hobby at Place GT, May 24th through 25th. I'm also trying to get a charity GT together right now. It's tentative the first weekend of December. I've got a venue. I've just got to see if that date works for them. If not, it'll get pushed back until next year. But that'll be for veterans and first responders up in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, which sounds like a really far away, but it's only about 3.5 hours from Richmond. But that should be a good time. Away Games will be hosting that. I've already talked to them. We've already worked out everything. Should be a great time. But other than that, I guess we'll just keep practicing against that orc detachment. I know you're getting a TTS game in tonight, Davis, so we're excited to watch that. Maybe I'll record that and put it up. I still got some battle reports to do for that. But thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yep. Thanks, man.
See y'all next time.
Have fun.